Alright, fight fans, let's break it down. Tszyu just stepped back into the ring against Joey Spencer, and this bout was supposed to mark Tzyu's big return, a statement to the boxing world that he's still a top contender. Sure, he walked away with the win, but did this performance really push him back into the global spotlight? His team's confident they'll reclaim world title glory before the year's out, but let's be real, it's not going to be that straightforward. So let's unpack what just happened, and more importantly, figure out what's next for Tszyu. Quick intro, Tszyu in the loop without the fluff. So if that sounds like your thing, hit subscribe and stay locked in. Now, after back-to-back losses, Tszyu's career was hanging by a thread. Another L, and it would have been a steep climb back to title contention. So, the team played it safe, headed back to Australia and handpicked Joey Spencer, a guy they clearly believed Tszyu could handle. Now, on paper, Spencer looks solid, PBC Prospect of the Year in 2019, nice record, but styles make fights. And stylistically, he was tailor-made for Tszyu. Spencer's flat-footed, doesn't deal well with pressure, and spends too much time backed up against the ropes, which is exactly where Tim thrives. And that's what we saw. Fight week itself was pretty low-key, apart from the usual drama around the judges. Spencer's team wanted neutral judging, and rightly so. Tim's camp originally lined up 3 Aussie judges, which Spencer's side wasn't having. After some back and forth, neutral judges were appointed, but Tszyu's camp throwing shade at Spencer for wanting fairness. That didn't look good, even to Aussie fans. Still, in the end, the judges weren't needed. Tszyu looked more like his old self, started slow, applied pressure steadily, and broke Spencer down. By round 4, Spencer's corner had seen enough and threw in the towel. Was it a solid comeback? Definitely. Tim showed glimpses of the aggressive, precise fighter that once held a world title. But did this win catapult him back onto the world stage? Not quite. The super welterweight division is stacked, and beating a stylistic mismatch doesn't suddenly put Tszyu back in the driver's seat. So where does he go from here? The fight everyone's looking at next is Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. It was supposed to happen already, but injuries delayed it. Now, with Thurman recently getting a KO win over Brock Jarvis, the matchup feels primed again, if the money lines up. Let's be honest, Tszyu needs Thurman more than Thurman needs Tszyu. A win over a name like Keith would add serious weight to Tim's resume. But Thurman? He's got options. He's already said he's open to other fights in the US that pay better. So unless the numbers make sense, this fight might not happen just yet. Still, if it does, it's a compelling clash. Tszyu walks down his opponents, applies steady pressure, and breaks them mentally and physically. Thurman, on the other hand, is slick, mobile, and loves to box off the back foot. If he can keep moving and frustrate Tszyu over 12 rounds, he could take it on the cards. But if he slows down, that's where Tim gets dangerous. It's a 50-50 fight. Could go either way. If the Thurman fight doesn't materialize, someone like Erickson Lubin could be next. The Tszyu camp seems to already be thinking a few steps ahead. They've got a 3-fight plan. Spencer, then Thurman, then a Fondura rematch by years. And to reclaim a belt. That's why this Spencer fight had the WBO Intercontinental title on the line, trying to curry favor with the WBO and work their way back into title contention. Now, let's talk reality. Against a guy like Fondura, sure, that rematch makes sense. But when you start looking at the rest of the division, Ortiz Jr., Madrimov, Crawford, even up-and-comers like Xander Zayas, it gets rough for Tim. We've already seen what Murtazaliev did to him. Tszyu's best shot at world title redemption is probably Fondura, especially since they're both under the PBC umbrella. Easy fight to make, and there's history there. Let's not forget, if it weren't for that cut, Tszyu might have walked out with the win the first time around. That's also why Fondura's camp is chasing a Spence fight. It's safer, it's money, and it lets him dodge the rest of the killers in the division. But let's not pretend Tszyu didn't have the same strategy when he had the belt. Instead of unifying or going after the toughest guys, he was lining up Thurman and Lubin, fighters who, frankly, weren't at the peak of their powers. So, can Tszyu make it back to the top? Maybe. The path is there, but it won't be easy. This Win over Spencer proved the old Tim isn't gone, but it didn't prove he's back to elite form just yet. If the Thurman fight happens, that'll be the real test. Anyway, I want to hear from you. What did you think of the fight? Can Tim Tszyu still hang with the division's best, or is this the start of a slow fade-out? Drop your thoughts below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like and subscribe. More deep dives coming your way soon. Catch you in the next one.